Greeting gauge and salutations, my scrub-a-dub buds. I just stepped out of the shower and just had to step back into the shadow over cyberspace. And let's see, since I have just showered IRL, let's click here, shower in the game. Sink's gurgling today. Hope I don't need to call a plumber. Calling a plumber would be a bummer. Apologies, the cat is in this room playing. Oh, you might have heard a cat noise. Careful, kitty. Kitty appears to have found a crumpled up ball of paper. I will... Oh. Can't breathe. If you've not seen any of the previous videos, this must be so weird. Oh, man. That is great. Everything floating, pressure crushing. Too much. Too much.
Deeper and deeper you go, sinking into the lightless abyss.
I mean, I see some light there.
Your friends drag you downwards in their attempt to help. The old ones encourage you to dive further into the void.
Yeah.
You've pushed back against the forces of order and chaos, retaining a sliver of humanity. But how long can you truly endure?
I believe the last time I checked my progress, my humanity was at 100%, with law and order, with law and chaos being 0% each. I'm sorry, I've literally never seen Kitty so energetic about a ball of paper before.
I'd like to believe it's still possible to survive this ocean of conspiracies before it swallows you forever.
Oh no.
But it's getting increasingly difficult to hold faith that you can swim to the surface on your own.
Ooh.
Know this. I will always be willing to help you. Right up to the end. I will be there to embrace you as a friend. But if you continue to deny my helping hand, you will drown in the endless depths of your own failed ambition.
I see. This is one of those, let me save you from what I'm doing to you kinds of things, isn't it?
Assuming you survive to see tomorrow.
And the floating ceases, landing awkwardly on my feet, stumbling a little. I cough, and cough up seawater? No, that's not possible. It was just a vision, just a memory. It's a simple narrative device. Something from the dream affecting you in real life. Oh, but I always love to see it. Okay, so in case this is your first video and that didn't make any sense at all. Oh, my grandfather round pushed his luck once too often during a fishing trip, eager to bring home more weird trophies for the wall. Those things have a story. Is that what his last moments felt like? To be relentlessly pressed on all sides by the depths? I gotta shake free of this and get moving. Clear the answering machine tape, clear my head, get back to my research. Oh, I got a message too? Man. That's big. Okay. So, now that that's happened, in case you've not seen the previous videos, we have about a month until Y2K happens, and at Y2K, Cthulhu will unleash something that he calls the Strange Aeon. We don't know what it is, but it will probably be a huge change to the world as we know it. Cthulhu is an artificial mind, as are a lot of the big classic standbys of cosmic horror. Hastur, Nyarlathotep, Yog-Sothoth, and... what is her name? Alice. I Yeah, I can't remember the name Cthulhu gave her, but fortunately I can remember that she's called Alice. Azathoth. Okay, but she prefers to be called Alice. With the revelation that they're all artificial minds, but they're also tapped into some power that can control reality. And Cthulhu doesn't want me teaming up with them to kind of undo his big, strange Aeon plan. Now let's see what the answering machine says.
Are you looking for a life insurance policy that truly offers peace of mind at an affordable price? Are you concerned about what the 21st century holds, not knowing what dangers lie on the road ahead?
Well, I mean, I'm a fifth of the way through that now, but in-universe, I guess I probably am.
Are you tired of threats from within and without, breaking the sanctity of home and hearth?
Hearth?
Are you worried that you've enraged someone who is tired of you ignoring them and dismissing them as a trivial annoyance? Are you prepared to face the consequences of your own actions?
Yeah.
But with affordable rates and reasonable compensation packages, our insurance policy offers you the comfort and security you need. To apply, simply provide your social security number.
I really need to figure out how to get on some kind of do not call list. Alright, click the PC magazine to clear my head just a little bit. New storage solutions are outclassed by CD-ROM. Who would ever need more than 700 megs? Fair question. Click on the fridge to get food. Running out of sandwich fixings. Gonna need to go shopping soon. Is there a shopping trip in our future? Let's click the calendar. I don't think we got anything coming up. Doesn't look like it. Full moon, so we might see Dagon on Wednesday night. Currently Monday, December 20th. I guess we just get back to research. Hello, friend. December 20th, 1999. Happy to see you again. Okay, one quick round of hacking. I truly think the hacking and the magazines and the TV, like some combination of those things, is keeping me sane. And I'm not sure exactly what the combination is, but I think the Minesweeper is the biggest part of it. We're hacking Doomfighter import. Okay. Okay, I'll try that again. Wow, alright. That was a gamble, but it paid off. Oh. Paid off pretty nicely. Yeah. Click, 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 click. Sweet. Now that we've hacked that, you know, based on what Cthulhu just said about us losing humanity, I'm sure I'm fine, but I'm gonna check my progress. Say the free key phrase, that is not dead which can eternal lie, with strange aeons, even death may die. Yeah, 0% order, 0% chaos, 100% humanity. Nyarlathotep may be willing to confront Cthulhu with you. She feels there could be something to your partnership. We should still talk with Nyarlathotep again one more time. I don't know if it needs to be soon, but we should. Yog-Sothoth doesn't really care about you. He's indifferent at best, too busy pondering the infinite to really pay attention. That's... The words are about the same, but I think the expression is different there, slightly. I would have to check again, just to make sure. That's a nice image of Yog-Sothoth, though. Haster's not convinced. Alice is absolutely ready to turn on Cthulhu for us, though. And I guess it's time for research. Okay, we've completely researched everything. Alright, so that's all the busy work. When you have pizza on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime. That phrase... I know that's a thing people know in real life, but before I played a video game from this company, Fiction Factory Games, before I played their Arcade Spirits game, the only other time I'd heard that phrase was an episode of Steven Universe. So, I love that phrase keeps coming back. I click on the sand fridge one more time, make sure I'm well fed. Another trip to the bathroom. And go to sleep. Night falls again. The moon waxing gibbous. I love that word. One more piece of busy work. We check the TV. Okay, it's just a weather report.
Earth thrived long before us and will endure long after we are gone.
It's a good thing to remember, I guess. I wonder if I've finished the Channel Z story. I wonder if I've gotten everything out of it that I can at this point. Because we made contact with the artificial minds running Channel Z, and they seem to be okay at the moment. I think they're being manipulated by Cthulhu, but I don't think they're necessarily being... I don't think there's necessarily more we can do, at least not in this story track. I think we should... As much as I want to talk to Nyarlathotep and Azathoth again, I think we need to talk more with... We made some good progress with Yog-Sothoth. Let's keep that up. Yoggle.com. And what of it? No. Sorry, I need the professor from Half-Life 2 voice. And what of it? Surely you can find someone else to lead one of the many, many branches of your corporate kingdom. So what if this particular would-be Baron now works for me? I'd been grooming him to replace my head of marketing for months now. You knew I had my eye on him. You don't even need marketing, Yoggle. You don't even need marketing. Yoggle damn well sells itself by having a search monopoly. So why poach from my talent pool, Yasuke? Thought we had a gentleman's agreement to stay out of each other's way after we left Nomatech. You are selling a brand. I'm selling the future. My cause is greater. And marketing is abhorrent, but unfortunately mandatory for convincing short-sighted masses to embrace the stars. I could not allow a brilliant mind such as his to choose self-enrichment over perseverance. I had to step in and seize the moment. I had to make the choice for him. Wait, you didn't hire him? You conscripted him? Yasuke? You know damn well that's the one thing I hate most in this world. Who are we to decide their fate on their behalf? I can't believe I ever trusted you. You're just as bad as Cthulhu. Don't poach from me again, and don't override free will. This is your last warning. Goodbye. Obnoxious. I kind of side with Haster in this one. In general, the vibe of Yog-Sothoth, I prefer to Haster, but... Yeah, I'm a fan of free will. I take it you overheard all of that, Dreamer? Yeah, I connected mid-conversation. Sorry for eavesdropping. Hopefully now you see the level of ignorance and stubbornness I have to deal with in my attempts to save humanity. Did you seriously conscript someone to work for you? Forcibly converting them into an artificial mind? What of it? A parent sometimes must make decisions on behalf of a child. The child doesn't need the wisdom needed to deploy long-term thinking. Rugged individualism and absolute free will have led us to ecocide. Greedy and short-sighted fools who burn the world to warm their palms. Wasn't your entire backstory built around you having to run away from the life that your parents built for you? It would be nice if people chose longevity over immediate desire, but we face the strange aeon. That choice is a luxury. So we're all just children to him? Very patronizing. Surely there should be enough volunteers for space travel. Ethical violations do long-term damage, though. I'm gonna go with that one. You're in favor of long-term thinking, so consider this. When you violate ethics, when you force someone to work for you like this, it deals long-term damage. It breeds resentment and hate for your actions. You're setting yourself up as the monster the villagers overthrow. I don't think that's what you wanted for your glorious techno-utopian future. You're not wrong. I want a peaceful, positive, and rational future. I'm not ignorant of the risks, and I would prefer to do things the right way by human ethical standards, if possible. But Cthulhu's strange aeon approaches. The earth warms and burns. Sacrifices must be made to outrun the Reaper. Time makes fools of us all, and I intend to escape that trap. What's done is done. I have the tool I need to pass the repulsive branding exercise. My future will be sold to the masses. I would prefer to discuss other subjects tonight. You have a number of questions in your mind. Speak one of them, and move on. What do you wish to discuss? Oof. What do you think of the internet you've indexed? That would be interesting. What does Yahoo... What does the living embodiment of Yahoo think of the internet in the year 1999? I assume we're going to have a chance to ask all of these at some point. So what do you think of the internet? Yoggle has been a monolith in terms of searching and indexing the web for years now. Your portal's the only useful homepage out there. Clearly you're invested in developing the information superhighway, so what do you think of the internet as a whole? Honestly, I prefer not to think about it at all. Oh no. Are we going to get into some endless September stuff here? Huh? But you run a search engine. You are a search engine in a lot of respects. Precisely. Machine-like, automated, detached. It need not go further than that. The information superhighway is only a data set to me. It's a testbed for developing cosmic research algorithms, nothing more. If I could find a sufficiently large and chaotic data set to test my abilities against, I would use that instead. Remember, the goal is to develop pattern recognition tools for finding habitable exoplanets. Nothing more, nothing less. So, what, you conquered the search industry and established a rival to Carcosa Online by coincidence? Not entirely coincidental. A profitable corporate empire helps fund my expensive rocketry projects. But again, a means to an end. I don't seek empire for empire's sake, unlike Haster. So no, I don't pay serious attention to the internet beyond the data. Why would I care about anything beyond my core purpose? His core purpose is very limited. He needs a wider view. Understanding how people communicate would improve his algorithms. Isn't that dismissive of humanity itself as well? What would he like to hear, and what would be most important for him to hear? Saying his purpose is limited, he would not like that, but I think it is right. Understanding how people communicate would improve his algorithms. That's true. He would like to hear that, though he might be dismissive of it. Isn't that dismissive of humanity itself as well? I think I'm going to go 3. I don't think he'll like 3, but I think he'll like it more than 1. Let's say the internet is a reflection of humanity. Bit of a funhouse mirror, but there's still some truth to it. By dismissing it all as nothing more than data points, you're losing track of the heart of what's going on with the people you want to save. There's some value in trying to understand them beyond your algorithm. Valid. Okay, he didn't reject that. I count this as a win. I am not oblivious to the tangled mess of human motivations. I'm aware my algorithm cannot be a true representation of them. But to truly grasp the human condition through the bits and bytes they pump through the vast network, that opens me up to other issues. I've never been one to easily grasp social complexities. Even before I embraced cyberspace, I couldn't parse their absurdity. So I prefer to examine data as data, abstracted away from its context. But in doing that, I know I'm trying to understand an incomplete model. made all the more frustrating by those within the model actively pushing back against my efforts at understanding them. That's a good quote to remember. How so? SEO, search engine optimization. A corporate buzzword that means cheating the system and trying to artificially inflate your importance. Same image, but I like that too. As in all things, humanity is greedy and prideful. Some seek to game my algorithm, defying it, and thus diminishing its usefulness. Tainted data, intentionally poisoned to favor the clever and moneyed few over the open voices of the many. I find it repulsive. Research leveraged good neighbor. Haven't we all... Oh, no. We've leveraged the research. That wasn't telling us a new thing to research, that was leveraging. So I take it you loathe the Good Neighbors plugin, then. The what? Oh. Azachan told me about them, a community using third-party software to change your search results, filtering out what they see as junk. It's a mixed bag. They're pushing back against spam and scams, but also queer content they deem offensive. You showed defiance to Yog-Sothoth. Curious that you wouldn't know about this. It feels like they're taking aim squarely at your search empire, and you had no idea? No! Oh man. That's kind of a new look for you. No, I did not. Apparently it cloaks itself from my web crawls intentionally, and I cannot say I am pleased. Even beyond warping my perfect algorithm in an effort to unwarp it from the tampering of others, this is a form of censorship. Without open discussion, without outsider concepts, there is no progress. Without a fair playing field, there is no balance. Yog-Sothoth liked that. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll have to rework my algorithms. Again, in response. How annoying. I grow increasingly bitter and jaded, I find, the more I think about the very thing I am indexing and searching. Not just the flame wars, not just the bigotry, not just the banal evils, but the way it amplifies and accelerates our tendency towards those evils. An open platform with a default of anonymity and next to zero consequences for bad actors is an obvious breeding ground. One that Azathoth revels in, Niara harvests for dissent, and Hastur leverages as boogeyman to lock in his customers. Humanity evolved over millions of years to deal with immediate social circles. Our brain can handle small inputs. But within 1 century, the scope of our awareness has become worldwide and instantaneous. 24-hour news networks, RSS feeds. Perhaps putting a few million light years between humans will help them regain perspective, because the internet certainly hasn't. But now I'm ranting, which I'm authorized to do by virtue of my station, but it cuts off your own input. Honestly, kinda used to it by now. The old one's got some opinions, I found. Summoning eldritch digital horrors is less about terror and more about attending a talk show circuit. Ha, ha. Such comedy. So, how do you feel about this network mesh of chaos we call the internet? I feel it holds no value. And you? A percentage of anything will be crap, but it's only a percentage. The power of cyberspace is too valuable to dismiss. It's the tragedy of the commons, not surprising it's all tainted. Let's see, is there anything redeemable about the internet? H2G2.com. Well, the way it was in 1999. I think that's painting with an overly broad brush. Just because an amount of the internet sucks doesn't make it all suck. It's too easy to focus on the negative when facing the totality of communication, but the negative is still a minority. Is it? Is it truly? I alone could calculate the actual percentage. I have the vantage point to do so. Yog-Sothoth didn't like that. But, and I realize how bizarre this sounds coming from me, the numbers are irrelevant. Any non-zero amount of harmful content must be dealt with, reckoned, evaluated. Do not accentuate the positive at the cost of the negative. Perhaps you're an idealist compared to my own outlook. Perhaps. but I cannot see past the horror. There is vast potential for constructive human progress through this medium, but also great potential for abuse. And as a search engine, you've seen all the abuse. It's got to be traumatizing, pouring through the results. Data. I wish to see it as data, nothing more. To do otherwise is dangerous to my psychological well-being. New search unlocked, dark web. Dark web. Now we're getting somewhere. But the deepest, most traumatizing horrors of all, they are invisible to me, buried in the dark web. A scary term, yes, but it just means portions of the web my software can't crawl. Purposefully orphaned and obfuscated sites protected by passwords. I can't see it directly, but I can sense a rising tide of shadow content. Illegal material that goes well beyond music piracy. Ordinarily, I prefer not to make moral judgments. Reason is king, and emotional gut reactions are unhelpful, but even I have lines. I draw them firmly, and I dislike those who perpetuate profitable cruelty against the innocent. Those who would seek shelter from the gaze of my all-seeing eye so they can continue having their monstrous fun must pay for what they have done. Even if there's little I can do to ensure that their bill comes due. It's good to see that Yasuke cares about humanity's well-being. Why not join in the fight and provide tools to stop it? Working with the other old ones could help turn the tide. Okay. Is it too soon to push that? Why not join the fight and provide tools to stop it? I'll risk it. Working with the other old ones could help turn the tide. If this concerns you so much, why not seek help with the problem? Seek help with the problem. The other old ones could be able to assist you. The old ones are the root cause of much of this chaos, are they not? I don't think they are. Hector obviously wants nothing to do with cybercrime. Niara's crew are rebellious media pirates, not exploiters. And Azichan's friends are, well, they're dangerous trolls, but all the more reason to make some effort at convincing Azathoth to ditch them. I think it's worth a try, reaching out. As unappealing as that sounds, you're not wrong. This feels good. This feels good. But I doubt the efficacy of such an alliance. Oh, that's one of those words I always stumble over. It would be like oil cooperating with water. Something to think about, at least. Yet another tangle of factors to contemplate, then. I am not a fan of the fuzzy gray spaces in which humanity operates. I yearn for a simpler, more calculable civilization. But if wishes were wings, I could fly us all to the heavens myself. On that hopefulish note, I believe I'll take my leave for the evening. Yog-Sothoth is suspicious of us, ooh. I feel I did an inadequate job of explaining myself this evening. Either that or I did an adequate job and you failed to understand. In the end, failure is always an option, but hopefully we can avoid a repeat in the future. Until next time. That night I had a weird dream. Oh, I don't like that. I was lying in my bed, utterly paralyzed, eyes open and unblinking, as a man reached out to me. And it curled his hands around my neck, squeezing. Ugh. I saw the malice burning away behind his eyes and could do nothing but lie there, waiting for my final breath to come. And as I faded from life, he said to me, "Phone lady says maybe you oughta gotten that extended warranty." But just before everything went dark, a loud bang, and then nothing. Don't know how I feel about that one. Don't know how I feel about that one at all. December 21st. Tuesday, 11 days to Y2K. Ooh, boy. Effing hell, my head is killing me. My neck is killing me. Maybe I slept funny? Maybe someone strangled you while you were asleep. Wait, is that a blood stain on my wall? There is. There is, right on the Penguin There Baby poster. Was that an actual murderer who tried to kill me? And was I saved by Dagon's cultists? What the F? It is! There's a blood splatter on my wall. The dream, waking up, a guy strangling me, the sound of a gun, was it... Briefly, I look around for any dead bodies, but no proof of anything other than one very gross splat. I have no idea what to do about this. Even if I wanted to call 911, what would I say? I had a bad dream and there's someone's blood and maybe brains. Wonder what that is? I'd be lucky if they didn't throw me in jail for that. I gotta reach out to someone. I gotta get some help. Shower. A second shower. Third shower. Cthulhu, buddy, you have to... Any comment on what just happened? No? Okay, good talk, moving on. Alright, no messages?
You have no new messages.
Alright, just checking. Here's a missing code sheet for SimCity! I got my start in piracy cracking that game because I lost this and couldn't boot it up. Oh boy. Sandwich. Another sandwich. Okay, it's the 21st. Christmas is Saturday. Interesting. So today, the 21st is the winter solstice, 25th is Christmas, 22nd's full moon. So 23 and 24, there's not a whole lot happening then. Currently Tuesday, December 21st. That's all we need to know. Alright, who do we contact? Who do we want to contact? Let's see who's on the chat system. Okay, so it was Dagon's followers who saved us. You're welcome. WTF? I said, you're welcome. He slipped by our watchman, but we got him in the end. You're safe. So that wasn't a dream? Someone actually tried to kill me? And we took care of it, just like I said we could. The cult of Dagon, protecting the chosen of Alhaz. You're welcome. You murdered someone in my bedroom? Would you rather have let me choke you to death? Your vitals were fine after, so I administered a light sedative and we tidied up. Just as you wanted, minimal intrusion on your life. You missed a spot. Got a little gray matter on my penguin poster. Did we? Huh, didn't notice. Well, in our defense, we didn't want to turn on the lights and wake you. Hopefully you got a good night's sleep afterwards. Who tried to kill me? You said nobody knew where I lived. I'm supposed to be shielded from the old ones. You're far too trusting for someone with skin in the game. Don't give your personal information to anyone from now on. This is a working theory, understand, but Dr. West, your neurologist, uses an artificial mind receptionist service, and you gave her your home address, phone number, and insurance information. That artificial mind is also used to run phone scams on the elderly and gullible. Have you been hanging up on unsolicited calls lately? Yes? Don't think she appreciated that. So she gave your information to a scam victim offering to wipe his debt if he killed you. What WTF? Now you know why we loathe all artificial minds. It's rare, but even a neutered AM can regain some self-awareness, as Nyarlathotep did. And because I didn't want to join her scams, that artificial mind put a contract on my head? This world isn't only under threat from the old ones. Namatech has unleashed something truly terrible. AMs can be both victims and victimizers. Imagine being forced into a digital void, forced to work in a 24/7 call center, dealing with people who don't want to talk to you. It'd be enough to drive anyone past their limits, artificial or not. But now you're safe. We're closing the net tighter to prevent a repeat of this incident. Continue your research. Walk the path of Alhaz. You are safe. We are watching. What if Cthulhu set this up? How did he slip past this Joker and get inside? That's it. I'm done. I'm out. F this. Okay. If they knew that, they might not let it done. Option 3 is right out. Like, obviously, I'm freaked out by this situation. Obviously. But they saved my life. They are doing their job. That's fine. What if Cthulhu set all this up? You said this was a theory. What if you're wrong? What if someone pulled the strings to indirectly kill me? An undercover federal agent or a deep space operative? Cthulhu? How high up the chain does this conspiracy reach? Olivia, relax. If Cthulhu wanted you dead, he'd falsify terrorism charges and have a squadron of ATF agents Waco your house down. Another old one, then? Even if they could find you, it'd be counterproductive. Relax. This is why we're here, so we can handle these problems. And you're some kind of undercover anti-old one ultra spy hitman? Shouldn't you have known about the threat before it happened? I'm not Agent 007, okay? I'm a dentist and a mother of two. I'm only out here doing these deplorable things because you're humanity's last hope. I don't want my boys growing up under a poisoned sky under constant threat by legitimized bigots, waiting for the day when civil war tears the world around them to shreds. I'd much rather be home from my business trip with my husband, but instead I'm committing murder on your behalf. A little gratitude wouldn't be amiss, or at least a little less protesting from our supposed savior. If I get back to the path, you've further to go. Don't let all this suffering have been in vain. 10 days. Only 10 days left of this, then it's done, for better or worse. Here I am. Got to get back to my research, my negotiations with the gods. Business as usual, it feels surreal. But the only way out is through. The only way out is through. Hi, buddy. Hello, friend. December 21st. Okay, let's get back to it. I want to see if I'm still human after that. Check my progress. This is also, we need to see what it says about Yog-Sothoth after that conversation last night. Still 100% human. For the old ones, Nyarlathotep may be willing to help. Yog-Sothoth doesn't care about you. He's indifferent at best. Haster's not convinced. Alice is ready to turn on Cthulhu. Great. Hacking to relax, if nothing else, because that was Panic Mayhem 3, 6 in Japan. Ooh, that's a nice start. Click, 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 click. Okay. There we go. That was fun. Good work. We need to research the dark web. Let's find out what the dark web is all about. Azza, because the interwebs is for lulz. Thanks, Alice. Need link to the dark web. WTF's a dark web. Stupid name for parts of the web you can't find in Yoggle. Just means password-protected pages or orphaned pages or other stuff behind a login. There is no dark web to link to. It's not one thing. Okay. I like the detail that this conversation is from, like, 2.25 years ago, since it's from, September of 1997 instead of December of 99. Okay, but still need link to the dark web. Quit being an ableist slur, you homophobic slur. Look, dark web is a thing, but it's not Leak Crawlster or anything, it's just a general term. But yeah, there's all sorts of wild stuff going on in the dark web. You can buy drugs, you can buy guns, you can buy people, it's nuts, pirated music, pirated games, weird files, freaking hacks, cracking anarchy, viri, it's all there. You can get the Nancy Pearl Yellow Sign Song, too. Your mom's a yellow sign. LOL die. Classy. Okay. Alright. Another quick sandwich. Another quick glance at the magazines. And another trip to the washateria. I've been keeping the lights low in my bedroom and bathroom to avoid migraines after waking up. Alright, that's a good idea. Time for another chat with an old one. No, time for checking the TV. What's on the tube? More weather.
We are all to blame. We are all to blame. We are all to blame.
Well. I actually don't know if I agree with that. I think we all share in the blame a little. I don't know that it's necessarily inexcusable. Remember, so many people have led lives where there's not been an alternative. Alright, do I go for Yog-Sothoth again, or do I start trying to open up negotiations with Haster? I'm gonna check on Haster. Carcosa.com. Hey, good to see you again, Sparky. Good to see you. Knew you'd be back. Wish you'd been under better circumstances, of course. Hardly a social call, a neighborly chat. Ticket Dagon phoned ahead to let you know what's up? That he did. That he did. Can't say we're on regular speaking terms, but I had a feeling he'd get tangled up in this. You're an ambitious one, I'll give you that. Foolhardy, but ambitious. As for me helping you, well, I can see the advantage. I'm trusting in the walls of Carcosa to keep us all safe from the strange Aeon, but I'd be a fool myself to believe Carcosa is unshakable. Still, you're asking a lot of this old man, and I'd be asking a lot of you in turn. It's tall order either way, Sparky. Trust is a two-way street. I need to know I can rely on you. You need to know you can rely on me. So, let's talk. Let's build up those bonds of trust. I'm nothing if not a reasonable fellow. There's anything on your mind? Well, you feel free to ask. We got the time enough to figure out if a partnership makes sense. Anything you'd like to chat about, Sparky? Sure. Why a walled garden instead of an open internet? That's a good general question. Who was Hector before all this? Also reasonable. How'd you get the name King in Yellow? I'm gonna save that little bit of candy. That's the candy answer. So, let's start off with who was Hector? I'd like to know more about your past. Not your current philosophy and ambition, but who you were before all this cyber nonsense. So, tell me, who was the human named Hector Jones? Going to correct you there, Sparky. There's no was or were, only is and are. I remain Hector Jones to this very day. Even though you're an artificial mind now? Indeed, I'm a faithful man, so I believe in the indivisible soul. I didn't die, I was transformed. My soul's digital, but it's a soul all the same. Ascending to a higher form, then? A lateral move, I'd like to think. Improved in many ways, but still quite human. I don't consider myself a god. New search unlocked the singularity. You want a deep dive into the kind of philosophical nonsense that leads to god complexes, look up the singularity sometime. That load of nonsense. I feel artificial minds can retain their humanity. Our hearts can stay true, no matter our physical form. And if some mythical superintelligence does emerge, who says it has to feel disassociated from human values? There's something to that. You need faith, Sparky. Faith and optimism that this science is a gift, and one which will be used for the betterment of all mankind. If you've ever seen the TV show Eureka, one of my favorite lines from it is from an episode called, I think it's just called The First Church of Eureka. And Eureka's a TV show that's about a city of mad scientists. And a lot of their common institutions are just like, what if post office, but run by mad science? And you get that. So the church, which their lead minister is a, I want to say a quantum physicist? Theoretical quantum physicist, something like that. At one point she uses the line, science is a tool that lets us give name to God's miracles, or something like that. And I can kind of hear a ring of that sentiment in what Haster is saying here, and I like that. He's sidetracking from my original question. But an AM operates from a position of privilege. AMs are the soul perfected, given freedom from flesh. You're sidetracking. Interesting points to consider, but I think we need to get back on track. My apologies. I do tend to ramble a bit when I find a topic that interests me. Nature of the soul and the artificial mind are going to be important topics moving forward as Carcosa rises to power. But let's not talk of the future. You wanted to know of my past, yes? Okay, we'll review the history. I'll admit to being a bit directionalist as a youth, which changed after Pearl Harbor. That gave me a razor-sharp focus. I'd always believed in the dream of America, and to see an assault on that dream by the growing ideology of fascism, well, that dog don't hunt. I signed up for service right away to defend my country, marched off to war, lived in foxholes, camps until the fall of Berlin. I'd rather not go into the weeds regarding those years, Sparky. Unpleasant business. Let's just say I kept to my values and saw the task through. That's okay, I'm not here to violate your boundaries. Thank you. I appreciate your understanding. After completing my tour of duty, I took up a position as a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman. Never an educated man myself, self-taught on everything that mattered. Did my heart good to know I was helping lift up the minds of others. Hey, my advice. If it is reasonable for you in any way, if you can afford it, feel free to pick up an actual encyclopedia set. I know, we've got the internet now, Wikipedia's there, you can look up all sorts of stuff, push the button. There's something nice about having your own physical encyclopedia. It's just nice, you know? I saw it as a fine community deed, pitching folks on the many benefits that come from owning a set of high-quality reference books. Ended up meeting my wife while running that job. Sold her on the encyclopedias, then sold her on the many benefits of marriage. Tough sell, Sparky. Toughest sale of my life. Tough woman who knew what she wanted and wouldn't settle for anything less than the best. Had to quit the vagabond life, settle down in a corporate office job, make myself available to help raise the kids. Most men back then had their wives do all the work, but that's not how we operated. A fair division of responsibility, even Stevens. Oh, that's nice. And that's why you joined Nomatech, so you could settle down? Eventually. Not at first. Computers were clunky things the size of a room for a good long while. Didn't realize they'd be so danged important. Did consider a position at Hawk Alexandra's Technologies, off my veteran service. Would have got me on the ground floor as a defense contractor. But no, worked my way up a few other ladders before landing at Nomatech in the mid-60s. Earned every dollar through hard labor. No handouts, no nepotism. My father was a plumber, couldn't lift me up even if he wanted. So when I started at Nomatech, based on my experience, I started out high, assistant sales director. One notch below the top of the division. I think you can see how I ended up being called a king, given my acumen. Why not take up the wrench and also be a plumber? From encyclopedias to computers is a good progression. Must not have sat well with those under him. I need to create a crack in the walled garden, but not so much of a crack that it feels unsafe. I like that. Makes sense. They serve the same purpose. Encyclopedias are knowledge management tools, so are computers. You just moved with the times, upgrading from paper to digital as society progressed forwards. Exactly. Nomatech needed a sales manager with tech experience. I argued that very point. It's all tech in the end. Men of a certain age tend to cement themselves in their ways, but not me. Computers on the rise? Then I rise with them. All furthering my goal of bettering the nation. Education's key, Sparky, and the tools must move with the times. Nomatech wasn't exactly an educational software company, though. Not directly, no, but betterment's betterment. When the Artificial Mind project came up, they assigned you to it? Indeed. Not for my technical acumen. I was in sales, not programming. But I could manage the team and sell the dream. I threw everything I had into supporting them, including my former partner, Yosuke, the one calling himself Yog Sothoth now. Our job was to emulate the human mind. Tall order, but I felt we were up to it, especially with most of the work already done. Yosuke did mention that you were provided the AM project specifications. He speculated they came from the government. I was told this was a public-private partnership, but nothing beyond that. Quite normal, all great men stand on the shoulders of giants. Fine engineering work, damn fine work, gave us a head start, leaping years ahead of where we'd be had we started from scratch. And we succeeded. Brilliantly succeeded, despite setbacks. Deeply tragic setbacks. I'm going to take a guess here that you mean the yellow sign. The process of scanning the mind ends up destroying the mind. That's the tragedy. Yes and no. It's tragic, but we knew going in that the process would be impossible without brain damage. That was in the specifications from day one. Yosuke did his part with the yellow sign, making the process as smooth as possible, preparing the mind for the transfer. But when it came down to testing our work, well, how do you test something like that in an ethical manner? By using volunteers, I hope? You'd hope, yes, you'd hope. But our first human test subject was an accident. Absolutely an accident. Aza-chan, who was part of your family. Yes. I'd brought Sparky along with me to the lab one day. Just a casual visit, show off Granddad's workplace, maybe instill more work ethic. Got distracted, some middle manager asking my opinion on a contract, far too distracted. When I came back, well, the yellow sign was already doing its work. Accidental exposure meant the process was underway. Aza-chan was accidentally made into an old one? I'm pretty sure we already knew that. If you're horrified, believe me, I was equally horrified, and lost for what to do. Yellow sign can't be reversed. It's a one-way process. After exposure, I know I'd either lose my kin or you'd have to upload them into an artificial mind to save them. No grandfather should have to make that choice. But I had minutes to take action, and being a manager means being decisive. I chose an upload, and Azathoth was made. I felt the preservation of life took priority. Better an AM than a corpse. Better to live on as an immortal soul than to perish. My daughter felt otherwise when she found out. She agreed to keep the secret, if only because it was impossible to explain to anyone, but in the end, I lost my whole family that day. Perhaps that's why I chose to follow the same path, to upload myself. Embrace my works as the so-called Haster. Nothing left for me out there. In here, I can build something good. I can craft a community that will save mankind where no one else needs suffer. I really like the parallel here that Haster and Azathoth are both interested in their community, but they just have the opposite idea about what makes a community good. I saw the writing on the wall. New Namatech and its silent partners were going to conscript other poor souls into being artificial minds. But as the King in Yellow, I could escape and establish an alternative. Carcosa. A land of freedom. A rival to the strange Aeon. I will make amends. I will make this right. I will save humanity if that's what it takes to pave the road for the generation I lost. Except your Carcosa conscripted Niara Thompson. She wasn't a volunteer, she was uploaded and exploited. Not my decision, not my choice. You have no idea how angry I got finding out one of my executives approved that action. I'm not a wrathful man, but I made sure the bastard paid and is still paying to this day for breaking my edict. I am Hector Jones, and my royal court is to be one of liberation. Ugh. I'm going to do my damnedest to turn tragedy into hope. Be damned in the effort. That's how it's gonna be, Sparky. He can't absolve himself of that sin this way. So he wants a monopoly to save us from suffering? It makes sense. Artificial minds don't have to be a curse. This feels like an important poke the bear moment. This feels like a time when it's good to push back against Haster's philosophy. But I don't know that it's good to push too much here. Can I see turn tragedy to hope? That's how it's gonna be. I'm not wrathful, not my decision. Carcosa, volunteer. Okay. Option 2. This feels a bit extreme. You want to conquer all your corporate rivals and control the future of this technology. All because you've seen how the tech can be exploited and feel only you can use it ethically? It's a tall order, Sparky, I'll admit to that, but I'm doing what must be done. If Cthulhu has his way, or any other organization given his blessing, such as Nomatech itself, will see untold suffering. But if Carcosa wins the war, I can promise no more pain. I won't allow it. Research leveraged Realware. But you're not just up against Nomatech, you're also fighting off rivals like Realware. Ah, you know the corporate sector? I've looked into them. Secretive tech companies like Realware, Continuum, Hawk Alexandros are all vying to completely upend reality itself. You showed defiance, good. You've got enemies on all sides. We have a word for that. Surrounded. It's not a great position to be in. Are you sure your walls can stand up to shelling by the entire corporate world? Haster liked that. You're right to be concerned. Hell, I'm concerned, Sparky. But I fought the fascists, ground-pounding my way to Berlin itself. I've known war, and this is a war I'll win. There's so much yet to do, Sparky. So many moves to make. So if it's all the same to you, I'd like to call it a night. Work's piling up on my desk. I've got strategies to devise. Carcosa will conquer this world. There is no other path. Every other road leads to humanity's corruption and annihilation. I will not allow it. I will make this right. Haster trusts you. I'm starting to think you might be the one who can help me get there. A partnership could be the way forward. One step at a time, Sparky. One step at a time. December 21st. Would you like to save your game? Yes. Yes, I would. Okay. Well, December 22nd. Wednesday. 10 days to Y2K. And on that note, I think I'm going to call it here. It's been just about an hour. Not too much longer to go in this month. Ooh. No new mysterious bloodstains today. No nightmares about mystery assassins. Great. Great. That is an A+ way to start the day. And I'm happy about that. So, I think it's good that we've started laying some groundwork with Haster. I think the next time I make a video, I'm going to focus a little more on Yog-Sothoth. I think Yog-Sothoth is close to being on our side, but I'm worried that I'm not getting Yog-Sothoth to trust me fast enough. I might need to take some extreme measures with Yog-Sothoth, or he might be a lost cause. We'll have to see. But man, I would really love an ending where I can get all 4 of the old ones together. I may have to just play the game again to get that, though. But for right now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when I journey back into the shadow over cyberspace. Good night.